Methylene blue is a very soluble molecule, means it can be dissolved in water. So basically, an antioxidant, in order for it to act inside the mitochondria, it has to enter 4 layers of lipids. And the methylene blue has no problem to do that, but not many other on the market.
All right. Welcome back, beautiful people. This is Forever Young. I'm Dr. John Layke.
And I'm Dr. Payman Danielpour.
And I wanted to thank all our viewers and listeners for sending in all of your feedback and the questions, because ultimately that's how we come up with some of these topics. And today's topic is no different. I know that this particular topic has been in the news, especially recently, for keeping us young and vibrant. And what if it wasn't necessarily in what we were consuming that would keep us young forever, but what if it's actually in our skincare? Today, we have the luxury of having Dr. Can Cao. She is a professor of cell biology and molecular genetics at the University of Maryland, College Park, a leading expert in human aging. Her research focuses on the molecular mechanisms underlying progeria syndrome, which is advanced aging, a genetic disorder that causes premature aging in children. And using some of the parallels between the natural aging process and progeria, she has continued down this research journey to discover a particular molecule that we like to call as a methylene blue. This is a compound that we've found its incredible age reversal effects on human skin cells. And her groundbreaking research recently shows that methylene blue regulates mitochondrial function, doubles collagen and elastin production, increases skin hydration, improves texture, and strengthens the skin barrier. And so we are so thankful to have you here today, Dr. Cao. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, listen, we wanted to get right into it. And I know that, what we are going to delve in even further is the fact that you have essentially put methylene blue in skincare, showing just amazing results with this particular research. Kind of tell us a little bit about, yourself and how you started in this journey.
Great question. I got into aging research because I have always been fascinated by the question, why do we age? Early in my career, I realized by studying rare disease like progeria, which caused children to age very fast, we could actually learn a lot about normal human aging. That's what led me into the field. And over the time, my work has grown to include not only the science, but also the ways to help people, to finding ways to help people into a healthier way, like methylene blue, to age into a healthier way.
So before we dive into your work on methylene blue, can you kind of give us a little overview of progeria and looking at some of the similarities? I know, again, we use that rapid advanced aging in children. It is such a great benchmark for looking at how the aging process has sped up and looking at some of the ways that we can reverse it. So, I think there's nothing better as far as using this as a tool.
Yes. So what really drew me into this was the profound biological and emotional impact of progeria. These children, they age rapidly, developing symptoms like heart disease, hair loss, and bone abnormalities, often by the time they are just a few years old. But they are also, on the other side, incredibly bright, resilient, and full of life. From a scientific point of view, progeria is caused only by a single nucleotide mutation, which in my view, to give a very focused and a unique angle into research of the cellular aging. As I finished my PhD from Johns Hopkins University, I had an incredible opportunity in 2005 to work as a postdoctoral fellow in the laboratory of Dr. Francis Collins at NIH, whose team discovered the genetic cause of progeria. I think that was also deepened my commitment to do this research.
It's phenomenal. And now looking at the star of the show, really, which is methylene blue, that's how did you come upon the utilization of methylene blue with progeria and noticing some of the amazing effects that it had, especially on skin?
So progeria, sometimes people call it Congenital-Guilford progeria, is a genetic disease caused by a single mutation in the LMNA gene, or called the lamin A gene, leading to a production of a protein called progerin. This defective protein disrupts nuclear architecture and cause all different types of hallmarks of aging, like DNA damage, mitochondrial dysfunction, cell proliferation, and impaired tissue regeneration. What's the connection between progeria research and the normal aging is that there are low levels of progerin are also found in the general population of aging people. So by understanding how progerin drives the accelerated aging in progeria, I feel we can better understand the gradual aging we all experience.
I know that you had a study that was in Nature Scientific Reports in 2017 that was showing, because methylene blue has been around for over a century. But you had recently published something showing that methylene blue has incredible anti-aging properties for human skin. Can you walk us through kind of the key findings in that research?
Sure. So in our 2017 study, we treated the skin cells from both healthy individuals at various ages and also from progeria patients with methylene blue over a period of weeks of time. And we found methylene blue significantly reduced signs of cellular aging in all samples. The treated cells showed improved mitochondrial function, increased cellular proliferation, reduced the cellular stress, and also the DNA damage. In addition, we also used at that time very advanced 3D printed skin model, which mimic a real piece of human skin, and we saw thicker, more hydrated skin and with better collagen production. It really showed that methylene blue has a strong potential to fight skin aging from that research.
Now, you described this as a magic molecule, right? I want to ask you two questions. One is, why methylene blue? Why did you pick methylene blue? How did you find methylene blue to be this magic molecule? And when you compare it to other antioxidant type molecules or treatments like retinol or vitamin C, what makes this stand out so much more?
So why do we pick methylene blue? So it was actually a kind of a happy accident. So going
All
back,
the best discoveries are like that.
most of them, right? So I was a scientist focusing on studying progeria, and I do believe progeria had a window for us to look into the normal aging process. So at that moment, we were focusing on cellular stress, mitochondrial dysfunction in progeria. Methylene blue had already been shown promise to support mitochondrial function. So we tested in progeria cells and saw remarkable improvements in energy production and overall cellular health. But what was more surprising to us was the controls, the healthy skins we include on the side, on the top of the shelf for comparison. The control cells also showed a significant benefits from methylene blue treatment. That become the unexpected finding made me to really think maybe methylene could help everyone.
That's great. And just out of curiosity, why didn't you think about doing gene therapy, considering it's a nucleotide dysfunction that we're talking about? Why wouldn't you just try to clip that gene and replace it instead of treating it with something else?
We did the methylene blue and the other type of treatment. the idea behind it was progeria is such a short-lived disease. The patients, we only have a few hundred patients worldwide, and they only live to the average of middle teens. We want to find something that's quicker and hopefully FDA approved, so we can immediately give them something to delay their aging process, maybe prolong their life to a feasible gene therapy become available, which actually became available in 2021. In 2021, myself, together with Dr. Francis Collins and also with David Rue, who developed the technology called the adenine-based editors. Basically, the enzyme he design can come in and correct the exact mutation from the mutant form to the wild type form. So we worked together and published the paper and shown that by gene editing we can cure the animal model to the normal lifespan.
Amazing.
But we can't do it for humans yet?
Not yet. So there is, because of how new this technology is, so there is some FDA approval steps we have to go through.
It's the FDA. It works, but it's the FDA.
Your discovery obviously didn't stay in the lab because it led to the creation of mBlue Labs and the Blueline skincare line. What inspired you to take this leap from scientist to entrepreneur?
I would say like the creation of mBlue Labs was also an accident. I was never set out to be an entrepreneur. It was the science behind it and the discovery. When I saw how powerful methylene blue to rejuvenate skin cells, I felt a little a responsibility to bring it to the real world. That was like what was me in 2017. But there was one moment that has always stuck with me. So it was about a week after our paper was online, and we did get a few reporters and a lot of tweets and coverage, which was already a big surprise to me, given I have been in a field to study rare disease, only have a few patients worldwide. This has been a much stronger noise than the other papers I published in better citation, in fact, impact journals. So, but one day, my lab manager, Mason, received a phone call from a woman. She asked where to buy methylene blue-based cream. And Mason told her, sorry, we are still in development. We just published the paper. And she responded, hurry up. I'm in my 70s. I don't have time to wait. The urgency made it so clear to me. I cannot just let my science stay in a journal. So I have to make it into something.
I love that. And mBlue Labs, now you founded that in 2018, and Blueline hit the market in 2019. What was the process like to turn, a lab discovery into consumer product? I mean, now how do you find the right vehicle? Meaning, what you mix your skin cream with, it's that alone can be challenging.
Yeah, exactly. It's both exciting and challenging, and I actually sit on it for, as you can see, the timeline from the paper publication, which I knew the result probably before that too. I found that the mBlue took almost 1.5 years. So as a scientist, I used to think in terms of experimental designs and the results and the data and the analysis. But now, transforming myself into an entrepreneur, I have to think about packaging, formulation, regulation, and branding, marketing, shipping, etc.
Right.
I'm very fortunate to be partnered with a very experienced CEO, Miss Jasmine L. Cordy. She helped me to bridge the gap from science to the consumer side. So we worked tirelessly to ensure the products meet the scientific rigor, also has delivering the real world result. It was a true bench to bottle experience to me.
Now, let's talk about the actual products. I'm very interested in how you took a research that you had and like Dr. Layke just said, made it into a real product, right? So tell us about the products and how does the methylene blue, for our listeners that can't understand at the scientific level, how does it really work to make you look and, reduce lines, decrease sunspots? What does it actually do? And what is the mechanism for those of us that understand the science a little bit more?
Yes, I would love to dive into the science a little bit. So our products, since our launch in 2018, we launched our first product in 2019. And after that, for each year, we launch 1 to 2 new products. So Bluelink is a brand name, now has about 11 different products, include a daily moisturizer, night cream, eye cream, serum, sun fix with SPF, cleanser, hand cream. And our top sellers are the Night Plus, and the face and neck remodeling mask. So the science behind how methylene blue works has come back to, we already knew from the beginning, methylene blue is a mitochondria, acts in mitochondria and can be a mitochondrial drug. That's how I picked the methylene blue for my initial study to check in progeria cells. But why methylene blue works better, in my view, than some of the other top products on the market is because of 2 unique property it has. So first of all, methylene blue is a very soluble molecule, means it can be dissolved in water, in fat with ease. So it never sits on top of the surface. It enters the cell. For mitochondria, it has a double membrane of mitochondria, and each membrane, I always test my students, has a lipid bilayer. So basically, an antioxidant, in order for it to act inside the mitochondria, it has to enter 4 layers of lipids. And the methylene blue has no problem to do that, but not many other on the market antioxidant molecules. The other unique property methylene blue has, I always like to think it as a lubrication oil for the mitochondrial engine. So it has a redox cycling ability. So it captures the freely released electrons, which cause the oxidative stress and cellular damages. But it can also donate to the places it's needed. So it comes into the mitochondria and acts there, repair all the defects like a little mechanic, and make sure the mitochondria works and produce the energy we need for our cells. So mitochondria, as you know, is our energy plant. So it functions in all different types of cells in our body, especially the ones that need the most energy, like our brain, skin, muscle, and the skeletals.
Now, safety obviously is of utmost concern when we're coming up with certain skincare products. Our own line, listen, we have Beverly Hills MD, which we try to have as much science-backed data that we can offer for these products. How did you determine kind of the optimal concentration of methylene blue? Because I'm imagining you probably took some of the studies from progeria and just moved it over to natural cellular aging.
So when we did the initial study, we do not come up with a concentration. What we do in the lab is we try a variety of different concentration and determine what is optimal in terms of a layer of cells. We call it 2D, or skin tissue, like bioprinted skin tissue. Now we look at its delivery. So the concentration we have for methylene blue in terms of tox is optimized, is 0.5 micromolar. And we have make sure at this concentration, there is minimal, 0 side effects, toxicities, or staining, or risks of staining or skin blue.
We used to use it as a dye in plastic surgery all the time to mark areas because we knew that it would stay there and it wouldn't go away. So I was going to ask you how you're combating that, because I know it's very rich in color. so it doesn't change your color in any way, right? Is that
No.
ever a concern for you guys?
At the concentration we use, we have been on the market for 7, 8 years. This has never been any issue. We never heard anybody. And
So no
in
one's
the
coming out like a Smurf, huh?
Yeah. So there are a tricky balance you have to work with. On the one hand is we know methylene blue, I only mentioned one super unique opportunity is it is a water and fat soluble thing. But on the other hand, it has this redox balancing. So it is stable in the mitochondria. It can be there and work, and you don't need to give them supply the cell so much of methylene blue because it can accept the electrons and donate electrons together as antioxidant. It acts more or less like our endogenous antioxidant NADP, or that. On the other hand, if you give too much of the methylene blue to a cell, what it may happen is it will interfere with endogenous antioxidant pathways carried out by NAD. So that may not be a good thing to have. And the side effect is the more you give, your skin has a higher risk to turn blue.
Your products are sold globally in 42 countries. You have a 65% customer retention rate, which is huge in the beauty world. What do you think resonates most with your customers?
I think it is the trust and also the result. Our products takes weeks to work because our skin has a 28-day on average like cycling, and we always try to educate our customers. Methylene blue works with your skin, but it does not kill your skin cells. It just makes it better and stronger and younger. So, but people can feel the difference days into using our cream, and they understand it's backed by real science. And a lot of our customers are coming to us after trying something that irritated their skin. So another strong benefit Blueling offers is our Blueling products are very gentle. So I think people appreciate the combination of gentle and effective.
Now let's talk results, because that's what everyone wants to know about, right? Everyone wants to know, if I use your product for 3 to 4 weeks, what can I expect? And listen, John and I know we have our own skincare line. We know that it's not magic. We just want people to look better and feel better. For people that are interested in your products, what is it that they should expect after a few weeks of using the product?
As I mentioned, the skin cells natural cycle is about 28 days. Methylene blue helps your skin to rebuild, so it works gradually. In the first 3 to 4 weeks, which were tested in the lab and also endorsed by our customers, most people notice their skin feel more hydrated, more plump, smoother, and have a healthy glow. And sometimes they can see the fine lines start to soften. With continued use, like 6 to 12 weeks, maybe down all the way, and you can see deeper results, like firmer skin, more elasticity, and more even tone. Overall, you feel skin is healthier.
And for those people that are already doing other things, for example, using retinols, or they have their own skincare regimen and they want to just, implement a little bit of yours, would you recommend that? Or do you think they should stop using stuff and then just use yours? How does that work? Or do you think it's more synergistic to use together?
Our skincare line works well with most of the other products because methylene blue it comes all the way into the cells, into your mitochondria, and act as a natural endogenous antioxidant. And we have tested head-on-head in the lab to ask methylene blue to work with vitamin C, peptides, and we see synergistic effects. That's what we actually, based on those results, we developed Night Plus Plus, which is a methylene blue plus vitamin C combination, and our face and neck remodeling mask, which is methylene blue plus peptides and niacinamide and other stuff. So speaking of retinol, it is definitely an effective treatment to skin because the retinol can boost up collagen production of skin cells. Also, it can accelerate the cell turnover of your skin, basically shed off the older cells and let the younger cells, which will naturally produce more collagens, for example, and have the use for looking. Long-term use of retinol does carry a downside just because of the natural effect of retinol to speed up your skin turnover. And we all only have a certain defined number of skin stem cells in our reserve under our skin. So the longer you use retinol, in the end, you may encounter a risk is the depletion of your skin stem cell. And our cells are our cells are very smart. They can sense the depletion of the skin stem cell, so they make fewer of the newer skin. So in the end, there are irritations and the thinning of the skins, and all that are coming from this side effect. So bluing and methylene blue act the opposite. It extends the lifespan of your skin cells, and it can proliferate for longer. Instead of maybe 12 times, it can do 18 times. Each is like 28 days. So in combination of retinol and the methylene blue, I always encounter this question. My point of view is you do not want to use them together because they will counteract, and you may not see benefit from either. But you may be able to maybe stop retinol if you feel your skin is too sensitive, and you maybe use methylene blue for a certain extended amount of time, like 3 months. So let your skin to recover. That may be a good combination.
It sounds like your products will be excellent to combat the new Ozempic craze. And with Ozempic face and the amount of loss of turgor and loss of collagen and just a lot of loss of volume, I would think that using methylene blue at a cellular level may actually really help. And since you're a scientist, perhaps doing research in the lab using people that have been using these GLP agonists for a long time and then treating methylene blue. Are you doing anything like that? Because it sounds like it would be perfect.
As of yesterday, I just submitted a paper to a journal. I'm not going to disclose it here. About how my view of the GLP RAs and how they affect the skins and what type of pathways I think they are attacking, and what I would recommend as a potential remedies, especially those easy to obtain remedies at home, like a methylene blue or retinol or something else. To your point of the sagging skin, yes. So it's after Ozempic, like the GLP-1 RA treatments, they are the major effect from that are multifactorial, as you can imagine, from the malnutrients, also from the mitochondrial oxidative stress from the treatments, and then there are other things like hormonal changes, because the fat is actually a very important tissue to reserve all the right hormones for skin health. And on the other hand, we see a few interesting ingredients that can pinpoint to these defects caused by GLP-1 treatment. So
I read an article about 1 or 2 days ago showing that the GLP agonists actually decrease your stem cell reservoir in your skin, but it shows that it helps with advanced glycosylation end products, which is also something that's very detrimental for the skin. So it was a paper in Science that just came out, but it was contradicting itself. It said that it's decreasing your stem cell reservoir, but helping you fight the ages. So perhaps maybe you can do something in your lab to help with that.
yeah, a lot of the treatments I see for disease or for skincare, it's all about the dosage and how you use it. It can be a double-sided sword, and also you have to put it in the context of like what the lifestyle and the age and everything has to play a role. Yes, and I agree with you. So Ozempic face is an area we should probably do more research on.
Now we kind of got a little bit of a taste on what's next, in your lab and things like that. For our listeners who want more information, where would you send them? Let's see, let's start with Blueline. Let's start with M Blue Labs. Where would you send them so they can do their own research?
We love to communicate with our customers. So we have our website, blueline.com. And on the blueline.com, we have a blog section. I wrote the blog with the CEO, Ms. Jasmine L. Cordy. And in that section, we discuss a lot about science. And another place to look is our social media. We have a big following on Instagram. And so the handle is at GetBlueLane. We do not just post beautiful pictures. We actually share our science there and customer reviews.
Before we wrap up, is there a personal story or moment from your journey that you'd like to share, something that continues to keep you passionate about this work?
I share the story of the lady that was like the turning point for me. And I think what's keep me going are all the feedbacks I hear from the customers. Yeah, like the reviews, the nice messages they leave on the emails, all that is very satisfying. Yeah, as a scientist, we always do stuff and wait for 10, 20 years FDA approval if we are lucky and to eventually learn the effect of our research. But these ones are instantaneous. Yeah.
Amazing. And your skin looks wonderful. So, if that's a testament to your skincare line.
I can't wait to use your products.
Yeah.
We have our own skincare line. So sometimes this is a little bit of a conflict of interest, if you know what I mean? But in all reality, we always want to be better and we want to give our patients the best products out there. So if there's something that, we are not using, we'd love to use. And I think it's great. I have one question for you. Oral methylene blue or IV methylene blue. Can we do that?
There is a very active community on Reddit, as far as I am aware. They constantly discussing the oral methylene blue and even IV methylene blue. Scientifically, yes, it has been tried in animal models. And for methylene blue as a longevity treatment, I think it's sponsored by National Institute on Aging. There was a longevity study, and they saw marginal benefits. Yes, extended for a certain amount of time, but we all know mouse are not a very good model to study aging because they only live for 2 years, etc. As a person who knows methylene blue inside and out, what I would like to say is methylene blue works in mitochondria. Not many other antioxidants do. So I can imagine methylene blue can function in all through our body because every single cell has mitochondria, but in particular in the places that needs a lot of energy, like our brain and our skeletal muscle and even in the heart. So I would not be surprised to hear people have a lot of hope in terms of this magic molecule, and it is a unique one with a lot of talents.
Is it a molecule that we can make bioavailable? Because you're saying it's very easy to use transdermally, but I'm wondering, is it something that's bioavailable that you can make a supplement including methylene blue?
I think, there are supplements available there on the market for methylene blue. And in terms of whether it's bioavailable, I hope I understand your bioavailability, the term correct. So it is a synthetic molecule, so we do not make it ourselves. My understanding of methylene blue is from experiments we have done in animals, is if we inject methylene blue, usually our body flush it out, depending on different type of cells we tested, between 24 to 48 days. So
yeah, it's interesting. I've heard the same thing, and I just was wondering what the expert would think. So, so it's still a little limited as to how much we can use it systemically, but it seems like it's the go-to for more of skincare. So thank you for all
Can
your
I
time
add
today.
one sentence? If that's, I think it will be important is I'm aware of all the usage of methylene blue orally. So because it's a synthetic molecule, so purity is very important. So during the synthetic process, can be methyl and other harmful molecules mixed into the compound. So make sure if you want to take orally the methylene blue, make sure you use at least a pharmaceutical grade. And just FYI, in our methylene blue, in our skincare, we use the highest, purest methylene blue, the medical grade methylene blue.
Amazing. Listen, I know I've learned a lot. I hope our listeners and viewers have as well. Dr. Sal, thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to future publications and following you along this journey with a methylene blue.
Thank you again. It's very rare to be so successful in the skincare world, but actually doing it with real research. Lately, it's because skincare is linked to a famous celebrity, and that's why someone uses it. But this is a whole different world. So all the listeners and viewers that are listening, this is the real deal. There's real data behind it. And we really appreciate it, Dr. Sal.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure.
All right. Well, listen, again, I hope for all the viewers and listeners that you learned as much as we did. Keep those questions coming and send those emails. And we love that feedback because ultimately this is how we come up with these topics. So once again, this is Forever Young. I'm Dr. John Layke.
And I'm Dr. Payman Danielpour. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast. Check us out on your social feeds and TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Peace.
If you like this video, you're going to love this one.
The test subjects that they gave it to, in this case it was Wistar rats, they lived 90% longer than the control group. So the single longest longevity experimental result on mammals in history, peer-reviewed published research, is because of this molecule that I've been manufacturing since 1991.